Reading an article. It's not time for that. That's what Coach Sweeney said when asked about potential coaching changes. We have good people. It's a result business. When you're in the outhouse, everything stinks. When you're in the penthouse, you still have a pile of crap on the floor, but you don't notice it. I think we're in the outhouse. I'm going to read this article in just a second. Welcome to the channel. If you love Clemson football, even though it's frustrating right now, and the good old days of Clemson football have passed us, they are gone. But if you love Clemson football, I hope you'll subscribe. Hope you'll pass it along to your other Clemson friends who, well, just want to scream right now. And I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. It is free to subscribe. I do appreciate that. Check out my other channel, another college football podcast. The link is below. I talk about college football as a whole. So let's dive into this. So per Rubbing the Rock, which, by the way, I'm not associated with them. I don't mean that in a negative or positive way. I'm just saying I don't have a connection over there. And I'm going to post this link in the live chat here for everyone's in here. I'm going to read what Coach Sweeney, I'm going to read part of what he said. So he said that our job is to bring out the best in our players, and we haven't done that. And again, I'm pointing the thumb at me. I make the decisions or the decision on who runs the rooms. We've got good coaches, but we haven't done it at this point. It's football stuff. It's making a third down catch. It's the proper angle, playing over the top instead of underneath. It's decision making. The read tells me to give it, I give it. When it's not happening, it's on us as coaches. We can coach our way out of it like we coached our way into it. Explain. So, after that, Coach Sweeney talks about other things that's listed in this article. And the coaching staff that led Clemson to the 6 consecutive playoffs and the 2 national championships in 3 years has been gone for a while. Save, if my memory serves me correct, Dabo and defensive backs coach Mike Reed. Other than that, yeah. The coaching staff that has been at Clemson for the past 4 to 5 years, give and take a few years for each person who's newer to their role. This is Garrett Riley's 3rd year in the role as offensive coordinator. And you can kind of take Tom Allen, even though I know the defense doesn't look good, and Matt Luke and put them to the side because they've just recently joined the team. By the way, Tom Allen didn't get to bring one person that I know of into this staff to help guide and direct each level of football. But we're finding out that probably matters right now. Now, when I read this, the first thought that I have is, well, Brian, Coach Sweeney can't walk up there and say, listen, after the North Carolina game, I'm going to fire this guy and fire that guy. And he can't. That wouldn't be good business. That wouldn't be a good leader, right? So we need to step back and accept that. He's not going to walk up there and say, yeah, I'm definitely eyeing someone. But we have seen Coach Sweeney fire about one person per year for like the past 3 seasons. And all the while, we're losing eligibility of players as we're moving through this slow process. Now, it's very true that Coach Sweeney moves slow because you don't want to move too fast, and you have to work it out in your head. And I get that everyone has their different, a different process. But you've lost 75% of your games so far. This roster versus its production, my goodness, it's terrible, awful. I mean, at least Florida State, when they lost all those games last year, a lot of them were transfer portal players who was not at Florida State the year before. So this really doesn't make any sense. And while a lot of people, and I'm choosing my words wisely here, not because the Clemson police is going to come over and pick me up, it's because I try not to be vile. Well, just say it. I tell it like it is. And I get some people who like to champion themselves like that, but they're vile in the process. I try not to be that way. It doesn't take a man to just spew anything. It takes a man to be able to, under control, craft their words and ensure that the message is getting across. But just to spit it out, this coaching staff has not produced anything elite in a very long time. And what makes me hesitate is I truly believe that Coach Swinney could get to the end of this season, maybe let one guy go, and then the coaching staff stays the same. And you're going to have the same mess on your hands that you've had as the program started doing this, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Trevor Lawrence and his talent, ETN and his talent, I think covered up a lot of things in their final season, especially. They were just that good. You could call any play with them. Then you went into the DJ era, and DJ was just the easy target. You would say, oh, that was DJ. DJ was just awful. And you could dump on that kid, but you didn't want to accept that even with Tony running the offense then, it didn't look right. It didn't. And then you started to have coaches retire and take jobs elsewhere, but you didn't want to accept that though Tony did what he did the other night against Florida State, when he and Jeff broke up, when Sonny and Cher broke up, it didn't look as good. Jeff never called one play. He was scheming, baby. And we're finding out that scheme means something. I love that argument, by the way. Well, Jeff wasn't calling the plays. What happened after Jeff left? It went to pot. It did not turn out well. Tony's not a bad coach, but I'm saying those two together were amazing. This coaching staff, it's just not working. It's just not working. So, looking at everything that he said in that article, I didn't even read all of that article. When you're in the penthouse, you still have a pile of crap on the floor, but you don't notice it. If you're in a penthouse, you would notice the crap even more because it's a penthouse. A restroom's supposed to smell like defecation and urine. Even if you keep it clean, you walk in there and not at my house, we keep it really nice and clean, but I'm saying if you don't clean a toilet, it will smell. And if you go in after someone's had a bowel movement, even if they spray the poopery, and flush every time they take a dump, you're still going to smell that someone crapped. And so I'm just looking at this and I'm just saying, I just don't believe that any changes are going to be made. Worthwhile changes. This entire coaching staff, probably almost the entire coaching staff, except for Tom Allen and Matt Luke. And I know people's dumping on Luke right now. You go ahead, but I'm going to tell you, he and Sam Pittman are two of the top offensive line coaches in all of college football, and Georgia would love to have him back. And I get that all the time. So, there's a lot of nuance there. But I just don't think that this coaching staff is at the level that Clemson needs them to be. In fact, I feel like you're getting the results of the coaching staff. He said that there, if you really read it, because Not to just sit here and pick and pick and pick and pick. But let's go back through that. No, it's not time for that. We have good people. It's a result business. Skip on down. Our job is to bring out the best players, best in our players, and we haven't done that. And again, I'm pointing the thumb at me. I make the decision on who runs the rooms. We've got good coaches, but we haven't done it at this point. You haven't done it at this point for a long time. And last year, Syracuse beating Miami and Clemson getting lucky and failing forward. That was not an accomplishment of the coaches. That was an accomplishment of Fran Brown at Syracuse. And you just happened to be next in line. And so I'm just looking at this, shaking my head going, you say no, now is not the time. We've got good people. And our job is to bring out the best in our players, and we haven't done that. Folks, I want you to try not fulfilling your job today at your job and do it for a long period of time and see how long you keep said job. And so again, I'm not calling for anyone to be fired. But I'm just saying, this coaching staff has been given a long time to produce, and they're not. They're not. And so what I'm truly afraid, and I'm going to end right here, and I hope you'll pass this along. I'm truly afraid that I don't want Dabo Swinney fired. You can't fire Dabo Swinney. You fire the man who gave you 2 national championships. How do you think that's going to look? So Clemson is really in a bad place here. Also, you can't fire him because of the buyout, excuse me. And so if Coach Swinney decides, hey, this is my team I'm going to ride with, my group of coaches, we're Clemson. We won 6. We had 7. We've been to the playoffs 7 times. It's like, yeah, 6 of that was with a different coaching staff. We won 2 national championships in a 3-year period. That's with a different coaching staff. And we've had all this accomplishment. We're Clemson. Again, that's with another coaching staff. And now, multiple years ago, 2016 was about 9 years ago. So 9 years ago. Then 7 years ago for the other championship. Okay? So we're getting farther and farther out from that hub of success that creates the Clemson brand, that creates the persona of Clemson is a really good football team. If you look over the past 5 years, especially, it's obvious. Clemson's not that anymore. They're living off of collateral of another coaching staff. So I'm just saying, I am, unless someone gets in his ear and tells him what he must do, it would have to be a Nick Saban to get in his ear and be honest with him. Don't do that coach talk stuff. Tell him, hey man, your coaches they're not Clemson level. As a whole, maybe save a few. As a whole, they're not Clemson level. And you've given them ample time. Look at the results. Stop talking about the 6 consecutive playoff appearances and the championships, because this coaching staff had nothing to do with it. And when you divorce the two, it's really, really clear. But I'm afraid, and I'm just coming out. You know, I thought that he had changed some things. I thought that he had got everybody in the right mindset. He brought in Tom Allen, and we had this roster. I thought that maybe some things were changing. It's now worse than ever. So I'm heavily afraid that Coach Swinney is just going to just let it be. And we're just going to continue to see Clemson regress and regress and regress and regress and regress. And just go backwards. And you may get 10 wins here. And every time you get like a 10 win, you get 10 wins. But the teams, every time they play a really good team, they lose. And no one wants to admit that means you're not a really good team. you're not terrible, but you're not elite like you used to be. It recalibrates this belief that Clemson's still elite, and it's just not true. So, my prediction for the team at this point, unless major coaching changes are made, and then in hiring the correct coaches, the best of the best throughout the country, while Clemson still has some clout left, because trust me, it's leaving. People are going to not want to come to Clemson. I'm talking about coaches included. If we don't act fast, and even acting now would not be fast. So much time has passed. I just think that you're going to see Clemson just go back to an 8-win team, 7-win team. Maybe we get lucky and get a 10-win season. And that's what, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's sad. Coach Swinney could win multiple championships. In fact, to remind you, he is the same age right now as Nick Saban was when he took over Alabama. So if Swinney started operating like Nick Saban, bringing in the best coaches, having to replace them all the time, that's what's really impressive about Saban. It's not just the whole SEC schedule thing and that he dominated. It's also that he brought in new coaches all the time, and they still won. They still won. They still won multiple championships. And I found that if you want to be successful for long periods of time, you have to look at what a successful coach like Nick Saban did. And you can portal it up, baby, and bring in a bunch of portal players right now, but you're going to have the coaches to coach them. So I'm not against the portal as a supplementary source to bring in talent, but start with coaching and you'll be fine. But I'm just being honest. I just don't see that happening. I think that this is where we're at, and I think that Clemson football is going to continue to creep down, and it's going to be a slow bleed out. I mean, it's really, really going to be. It's going to be death by a paper cut. A little bit of blood coming out, for a while. Oh, we're not bleeding that bad. Oh, we're not bleeding that bad. I feel a little weak, a little lightheaded. We're not bleeding that bad. That is what's happening right now, and I just don't see the team turning. And I'll leave you with this. In the preseason, I said that if Clemson lost 3 regular season games, and this is something I got from a Clemson super fan who I know, and I agree with him 100%, it would be a catastrophic failure. Right? And I said that if Clemson did this, I would be irritated. I would be Clemson fan number 1, irritated. And unfortunately, I'm having to hold to that. I'm not even having to try. I'm really frustrated with this because none of this makes sense. And the guys who's supposed to fix it, they don't seem like they know how to fix it. They don't know how to get the players up and at them. We won't even there's an idea that they'll entertain playing other players to see if they're fired up. But folks, I don't mean this bad. If they're fired up and excited to play for Clemson, versus counting their NIL dollars, I believe that when I see it, consistently see it. It's just really, really tough. But hearing that, I say this and I'm going to shut up. I know that he's not going to come out there to the media and say, I'm firing everybody. He's not going to do that. At the same time, I just don't think he's going to make the major changes. And if you think this year's bad, wait till next year when a quarterback who's been sitting on the bench for years now, who barely has any reps because the offensive unit has performed so poorly. Wait till he takes over and everybody's shocked that a guy sitting on the bench instead of a realistic, real-life game when he doesn't do as well as everybody thinks he should. Yeah. You're going to be shocked, aren't you? I bet you are. Folks, tell me in the comments section, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see any changes? Do you think that anything good's going to come out of this? I don't know. Yeah. Well, folks, subscribe. It's free. Pass it along. It really helps the channel. If you like what I'm doing, hope you'll do that. And check out my other show, another college football podcast. I'm talking about college football as a whole. Y'all take care of yourself. And as always, it's tough, but go